Greetings. I am here because I want to be clear. I no longer want to mask. I was listening to one of the workshops on the internet, and this woman said, I knew who I was. There was a great deal that I learned this morning. I have always been a person who, a new source, applied, and I never felt sorry about how happy I was. When I was a child, I was called Smiley. And things came to me very, very easily. And I knew Source always had my back.
Yeah, that's what that feeling of worthiness is, isn't it?
I grew up without my dad being around, and that position that I was in, having to become a man, was very strong in me. And I am also creative. And dance is very, very profound in my life, and it introduced me to the world as a dancer and a choreographer, which I became a world-renowned choreographer, which was my desire. Yeah. There were dreams that I had as a child that all came true. All of them. World-renowned choreographer, working with Michael Jackson, Prince, winning MTV Music Awards. When that happened, I said, okay, now it's time to transition into something else that I wanted. And I thought the natural process was acting, so I did. And 3 months later, I was on a television show for 5 years. When everything came true, I realized I didn't have any new dreams. And I thought my dream was to have family. I started producing children. But my relationship didn't develop with the woman I had chosen to have children with. And I have always been a person who kept a positive perspective, and I was always, as this gentleman has said earlier, when I went to funerals, I didn't feel bad because I had never believed that they were gone. I knew that the energy, the spirit was still around, and I had many times connected. But for a person like myself who has the ability to speak to other people and assist them, I felt and feel alone a lot. And there are things that I want to do, and I feel this great power within me, and I've always tied myself to feeling bad about other people and trying to assist them, and it seemed somehow to always pull me down, and I felt and disconnected with Source for a long time.
It's as if everything we've been talking about here today was specifically for you. We have a quick question. So you talked about feeling your power, that incredible feeling of, what was the word you used? Empowerment. And then you talk about that feeling of being alone. And we just want to point out, those two feelings never happen at the same time. That one feeling is because you're on the path in that moment, and the other is because you've stepped off of it. And now we're going to say something really blunt and bold again, and true. When in any moment you're choosing service of another rather than service of yourself, of choosing alignment first, that's when you get crossways off. And when so much of who you are has been flowing into your vortex for so long, even before you were born, when so much of it is there and there's such momentum on that path, the slightest departure from that kind of momentum is very uncomfortable. And that's what we mean by that. If you catch it in those early subtle stages, well, sometimes in the early subtle stages it does not feel so early and subtle. It feels really big, sort of like you've been really blindsided by something, you see. The thing that we most want you to hear, and that you're most ready to hear, because you're in that place of asking with such power, is that you have picked up along your trail, as has everyone, beliefs, some that fit with your path of least resistance and some that hinder it. And it's interesting to us how you had these dreams that you felt and they were real, and you practiced them so much, partly because you didn't have much interference in a situation that many would call a bad situation, because there was not that parental guidance. It was parental absence of hindering, and so your path was clear and your dreams unfolded, and they didn't just come true as in past tense. They continued to come true. They were coming true, coming true, coming true, coming true. It's always the case for you. Coming true, coming true, coming true, coming true. And the thing that you had going on then, that you had not cognitively identified, was that your dream was dominant. That's all. Your dream was dominant. So your dream was dominant about dance, and your dream was dominant about entertainment, and your dream was dominant about co-creating in influential places. You had clear energy about all of that until it came to relationship. Most people don't have clear path about that, because they've been conditionally observing so many things that they have hindering vibrations relative to that. So then, so interesting, what kicks in under those conditions? So often you're going to follow your dream relative to dance, and nobody's going to talk you out of it. And you're going to follow your dream relative to business, and nobody's going to talk you out of it. And you're going to follow your dream. You're going to follow your dream. But suddenly you got somebody else that's in a co-creative experience with you, up close and personal. And now, maybe for the first time, for the first significant time in your life, you let that split your energy. Because now you've got this sucky death do us part thing going on, where you have these other beliefs that conflict with everything that was always working for you. What that thing was and is for almost everyone is, yeah, I'm supposed to give up what I know is right for me. We're not talking about long term. We're not talking about the big things. We're talking about this subject and this subject, this day, this conversation. I have to go this way when this has been my path, and I have to go this way so that I don't hurt your feelings if I don't go this way. And so that's when you then introduce, in an attempt to soothe yourself, the ideas of what relationships are, and being of service to others, and making others happy. And that's why we shouted before you even came to this chair. It backfires 100% of the time. Don't ask yourself to do what almost everybody thinks that you need to do, but that you know you can't do because you've proven it to yourself in every other way. Why doesn't it work this way? Because you're doing it different with this than with everything else. You let your energy get split. And the reason you let your energy get split is because that's what we're supposed to do as humans. Never mind what I want, never mind how I feel. I'm supposed to do what feels better to you. Never even realizing, when most people do it, that when you do that, when you give up your alignment in order to give anyone what they think they want, they're never happy with what they get from you, ever. Never, ever.
And I realized that
So Abraham, are you saying we just be selfish and everything works out? Yeah, pretty much. Because in your practiced alignment, you see, so you're on your path, and you're on your path, and you're on your path, and you're on your path. Now, these beautiful family, they were all in your vortex too. Having a family and producing children was not off your path. That was on your path too. That's all on your path. So as you're going along, and you're on your path, 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 and then something happens that doesn't feel good, is it your job to bring yourself back to alignment. And here's the thing, this is the key for you. This is the answer that you're looking for. You're going to be able to do this easily because you've applied it in so many other areas of your life. We just need to tell you the genesis of manifestations. So there's a vibration, and law of attraction is adding emphasis to it, and the vibrations, whatever it is becoming more, because that's what law of attraction says. You're offering a vibration, and when your vibration and this vibration get in the vicinity of one another, law of attraction puts you together. So as you're deliberately reaching for alignment and reaching for alignment and reaching for alignment, looking for things that feel good, practicing that, you come into the vibrational vicinity of this, and now an idea occurs to you. And you can tell by the emotion that comes with it, the on the pathness or the off the pathness of that idea. So you feel it, you know it, can't explain it to anybody because they weren't there. You really had to be there. They weren't there. Try to explain it to them. That usually just diverts you from it. They weren't there. But you let it germinate. You let it get bigger and bigger and bigger and bigger and bigger. And as you do, it brings you more and more pleasure. It was a dream, you said. All those dreams brought you so much pleasure. You allowed the dreams to bring you pleasure. You didn't demand manifestations of those dreams right then. If you had, you'd have gotten off your path a long time ago, but you didn't. You allowed those dreams. Those dreams were allowed by you to continue to be what they were, and you continued to find a way to find alignment with them. Now here's the way it works. So there's the vibration. You're in the vibrational vicinity of it because you're in tune with it, in harmony with it. Now a thought occurs to you, and when it does, it explodes in you. You can feel it. You know the perfection of it because you know the pleasure of the idea. The pleasure of the idea. Let's start talking about that. The pleasure of the idea, the satisfaction of the idea. Those are harmonics, you see. So now, if you're able to stay in the quietness of your own alignment without bringing other people in who don't know, who weren't there, who weren't part of what built the vortex, who don't know, who lived other experiences, who will just complicate it. If you don't introduce them, then your path continues to get stronger and stronger and more defined by you and more irrefutable and more certain. And you just have this knowing. You have this clarity and this certainty. You just know. So now manifestation occurs, and let's talk about the manifestation of this wonderful relationship. So this manifestation occurs. Now we want to demonstrate. So you're on your path, you deviate a little over one thing or another, but you come back. You're on your path, you deviate a little over one thing or another, but you come back. You're on your path, you deviate a little over one thing or another, you come back, and then something happens that causes you to do this more. Just the circumstances of what you're doing. Circumstances of another person entering up close, really up close into your experience. And you're all hooked in all these other kind of ways. And so you just sort of forget that it's all right for you to be selfish, because you're told constantly, it's not all right for you to be selfish. What's the matter with you? Don't you know that there are more of us now that you must consider? And so then you start deviating and deviating and deviating. And it's not because you don't want all of those good things for all of those people. It's not about that. It's that you separated yourself from something fundamental that you cannot separate yourself from. And that is your own clarity and your own alignment. So now, follow this out with us. So now you recognize that, and you're feeling the discord of it. Not the discord of a hard relationship. That's not what we're talking about. We're talking about the discord of splitting yourself up. We're talking about the discord of your own split energy. You can use any excuse you want, but it's the discord of your own split energy. That'll keep you from being creative. That'll keep you from moving and dance. That'll keep you from everything you want, and it'll keep you from satisfaction and contentment in this moment, won't it? But it's happened. It's no big deal. It's happened. So now you get clear. You start focusing on what you can do something about. You come back into alignment. Not about that. That's too hard right now. Come into alignment about dance. You come into alignment about this. You come into alignment about that. Not about that. That's too hard right now. You come into alignment. You come into alignment. You come into alignment. You accomplish alignment. Never mind that, because that's too hard. You come into alignment. You come into alignment. You stop beating up on yourself about that, because every time you beat up on yourself about that, you come out of alignment. Every time you try to do what somebody else wants you to do, you come out of alignment. You just come into alignment, come into alignment, come into alignment. Come into alignment, come into alignment, come into alignment, and then law of attraction helps you dovetail again.